Am I live? Am I live? I think I'm live. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I think I'm live. I'm just gonna go ahead and record this and praise Allah and hope for the best. Islam. Oh, okay. It's telling people that I'm here. Let me go ahead and do that myself. Oh, Islam. Oh, Islam, y'all. Praise Allah. Islam. Thank you for joining real quick. I'm not gonna be here too long. So Islam to the Moors who hopped on real quick, because I'm gonna hop off real quick. Islam to y'all again. Happy holy day, because it's sundown where I am, so technically it's holy day. So real quick, I came in today to give a few updates, right? Some good news and some not so great news, you know. I guess it's a matter of perspective. So tonight I wanted to recap on the 40 days of gifting that just passed last month, right? It's been a month. We've been doing all the accounting and, you know, gathering names and adding up numbers because, you know, we got to actually report this stuff so that we can qualify for other things. You know, this is a part of a process. So if you haven't been on Mercy Charities, MRCI Charities, you can go on the Instagram or on the website, mercycharities.org, and you can see all the names of everyone who donated in fiscal year 2022. All right, these years are flying by. So yeah, fiscal year 2022, because that was really our first year of operation, and we did phenomenal. Most charities, I looked it up, they don't raise a penny. You know, they actually come out of money their first year. But yeah, Islam to the Moors, thank you all. You know, y'all came through for real, right? So on that note, because I also want to touch on the Polygyny chat that we have coming up in a couple of weeks, and by we, I'll get to that. There is actually a we. Islam to everybody who's joined, thank you so much. I won't keep you too long because I respect your time and I got my notes. So if I look down, that's what I'm looking down at. All right, old school, right? Notebook. So updates from Mercy. We are closing the emergency part of it. All right. If you haven't seen the post about it, yeah, we've been having some problems recouping funds that were issued to help people, right? And it's really foul because that wasn't just money that was donated by Califa Media via my efforts. That was like actually fundraised, and there's actually a susu where we have people who have joined us and we put money in a bucket and we're, you know, helping people, you know, and I don't even need to go into that. And some of these people have proven to be less than noble, I guess. You know, they don't live by the maxim that word is bond. So, but hey, it's been a learning experience, right? And it's funny. Somebody actually told me to let it go. And I'm like, I'm not going to let it go because that's why people keep doing stuff like that, right? If nothing else, I'm going to expose these people so that no one else makes the mistake. Or I don't know yet. I'm going to suspend judgment for a minute and I'll get to that. But like I said, I don't believe in letting people slide, right? Because I just think, well, what would I expect if I did that to somebody? I know I would expect to get caught up. Right? So, right? And I know how to do this stuff. I don't want to do it. It's a waste of time. I got better things to do. But, hey, it's a learning experience for me. It's a learning experience for them. It's a learning experience for all of us, right? It's kind of like with the package sellers. How people keep getting caught up with the package sellers because the folks who got caught up before didn't say nothing. I don't know why. I don't get that, right? I really don't understand that. You're trying to protect somebody who definitely is showing that they don't have your best interest at heart. But anyway, somebody found out about it, right? Because there's one that's been out for almost a year, which is really messed up. But somebody found out about it and they were very generous and said, I will donate this to the Susu on the condition that you put these people's names out there. I'm like, okay. Unfortunately, I sent them notice, giving them 21 days to let me know something before I put them on blast, because I have no problem doing that. So the other party I'm like, well, you just gonna have to wait. I don't have no problem doing it, but it's gonna be. They have a couple of more weeks, and then yeah, I will name names, and I will put out everything, right? Because it's bogus, it's foul, and it could have been avoided, right? And they gave this donation to recoup the susu, and I'm not gonna do that, right? Because I think that's foul. We already did a fundraiser for you with the expectation that you will return. And this, if you received a statement, I am not talking to you. Let me make that clear. This is not you. If you didn't receive something that said notice, because we have to do this for reporting, right? Because we're grown folks, all right? We just open the book, crack the book that everybody else cracks open so they can get free money from everybody who's giving away money. It turns out there's a lot of people doing that. So we just cracked open the book and been like, okay, this is how we do this. Oh, we got to report stuff, and we got to show that we've made attempts to recoup donations in case somebody wants to give us a donation, right? It shows we at least make an effort, that kind of thing. So if you received a statement, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who had to get notices, right? And that's messed up. I shouldn't have had to do that, right? But it's a process, whatever. So, yeah, like I said, if you did that, I'm not. Oh, they gave the funds to recoup the susu, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Unfortunately, the susu is still there. You know, you are welcome to join our susu. We're gonna find something else to do with it. The emergency part, unfortunately, is shut down for now, right? Which is unfortunate because the last couple of weeks I've actually gotten some requests for help. I'm like, we ain't got it because it's still out, right? Again, if you got a statement, I'm not talking to you, right? So I'm not saying who's holding our funds, but I'll let you know soon, right? So, what the emergency fund, if you still need one, join a temple. That's it. Because this one, you know, we're going to be, at least me, and I'm going to talk to our board, because I'm not just going to make this, I decide. No, not that. We have to actually have a board, because we grown and we doing this professionally in case someone of another nation wants to sit in and they expecting certain protocol. We're doing that, right? So I'm gonna let them know, like, I think I already did it. Where the emergency part is shut down, and it's at least Mercy is just going to be focusing on the temples, plural, that are on our board. So yeah, and yeah, so if you need that service again, because it was set up for Moors who didn't have an emergency fund to turn to. So unfortunately, give it up to one of our board members. He said, don't shut it down because a couple people shouldn't mess it up for everybody. But hey, that's how it go, right? Right? Don't continue to be a sucker, right? So anyway, and then like I was saying, I had to put it in perspective where, praise Allah that we were actually in a position to do that. I'm not going to go too deep into the situation because, like I said, they have a couple more weeks. And yeah, it's a great story. It's kind of trash, right? And unfortunately, I empathize. I don't know if sympathize, where you feel the same, or empathize. What's the one where you went through that too? That one, right? So yeah, which is probably how they got the help, right? And I was thinking earlier today, like, dang, y'all lucky I wasn't part of a temple back then, because I would have been like, go to your temple, right? But it's amazing how Allah works, because I joined a temple right after that. But it's how much time I've been on here. It's already, not that long. All right, it's long. Thank you all again, those who have joined in and those who will see this again later or see it later. All right. Yeah. So that new digital or the new gift. Some good news. Now that I've gotten that part out the way, the good news. All of those who donated, your names have been placed on the website. Yes, they are on the website. You just go to, I don't know the page. It's mercycharities.org, and you'll see where it'll link you to the page where all the names are listed. And if yours wasn't listed, please let us know. All right, because stuff does slip through the cracks. You might have sent it to another party who was collecting, and they didn't let me know. Stuff happens. I'm not trying to purposely leave anybody out. Please let me know. Go to the website and just let me know. mercycharities.org/thanks, and there's a form you can fill out. All right. For those donors from last year, every single one of them, if you donated over $10, you will, courtesy of Mercy Charities, be receiving a coupon for a digital copy. Because I would just email it to you, but I need it for my records when you actually got to do a transaction. But you will be receiving a coupon to download a digital copy of our new book. All right. I should turn it around so y'all can see it better. Let me see if I could do this. I think I would know how to use this thing by now. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's better. All right. So there's the new book. It's long and it's beautiful, right? It might be a part 2 because I've been reading it and, of course, stumbling over other facts since then. Like, I think I figured out what kind of feather this is. I think I actually figured it out, of course, after I got the copy in the mail. So there may be a part 2 because I don't know if I listed this feather in the book. But again, if you donated over $10 to Mercy Charities in the year between December 2021 and January 2023, right? Make sure your name's on the list. It's on the Instagram page for Mercy Charities, and it's also on the website, so we can email you a coupon to download a free digital copy of the book, Islam. Well, shoot, since I got this out, I was just looking at something. You know, they always saying, oh, make sure you inject some value into your content. Here goes some value. I was actually going to use this to stack my phone on to lift it up a little bit. And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't this my 1928 dictionary? Can y'all see that? Yeah, 1928. You know, before World War II. And I'm like, yo, let me see if this was the right dictionary, because I know I saw that definition before. Where was it? Right there. I'm not going to read it because I don't want no smoke, but there's the original definition of that word. All right. It means a sacrifice wholly consumed by fire. Has nothing to do with a people. Unless, you know, you sacrificing your own people. Yeah. So, yep, Islam. I don't know why I turned to that, but I figured I had it on the desk. I might as well share it. Let's see what's next. So, yeah, make sure you get in touch with us. You know, this is now available online. You know, you can get it pretty much everywhere, I think. It's in paperback and hard copy. I'm not trying to turn this into a commercial or nothing, but yeah, you know, child approved. I actually got a teenager, for real teenager, 13 years old. He read it and he came looking for it because he hadn't finished it. So I'll take that as a good sign. Let me turn this back around. All right, Islam. What's next? Okay, dokie. So, yep. Oh, so yeah. And as I get ready to wrap this up, because I know I haven't been on here that long, but like I said, I got stuff to do. You know, shout out and kudos to those who make content for digital media. You know, I don't know how y'all find the time because I do so much. I would love to be on here more, right? Sharing what I find, but I find that takes away from finding stuff. So yeah, if I'm not on here as much as, you know, it's like, I wish I could be here more, but it's that sporadic because I got stuff to do, right? And hopefully you do too. So anyway, speaking of stuff to do, February 9th, right? That's a week from today, February 9th, right? Califa Media right here will be hosting a chat, inviting anyone who wants to join in and hears this message. And I guess this is going to be a clip. Invite Califa Media Publishing. That's at Califa, CALIFA.media, MEDIA. Oh, somebody just sent me a message, sorry. On Instagram, where we just going to talk about it, right? Because there's a lot going on, and we're trying to get ourselves back in order, and the first order is getting your house back in order. And me personally, I'm suggesting and positing that polygyny, not polygamy, not polyandry, and not no other polys you can think of, polygyny specifically is the solution, right? It's no different than what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did and established a caliphate in his lifetime, right? So he did it through the families. Oh, and that chat is going to be kicking off other chats, because coming up next month, right? And this is perfect because what time is it? Oh, we just left it. This chat began in the hour of the moon. If you don't know planetary hours, get to know planetary hours. All right, it's another aspect of astrology. So, March is it's a sacrifice week. Is like, I think it's the third week. Yeah, the third week in March for us, starting March 17th, right? Which is also St. Patrick's Day. March last year was also designated Women's History Month, National Women's History Month, National Women's History Month. Last year, I'm just saying. So a lot's going on in March, and Islam this year, the sisters have Soul Temple 27 MSTA, shout out to y'all, are getting together discussions to go along with the tags that we will also be issuing. So please keep an eye out for that, and you can look that up on MSTA Soul Temple on Instagram, and I think you might be able to find it'll link you to their to our Sisters Auxiliary, right? So yeah, stay tuned, because we're gonna start talking more about that in the future. Oh, and that was started by a discussion that was held this past, I want to say Tuesday, right? I want to say Tuesday, but the days keep flowing one into the other, where we were discussing where are all the Moorish women, right? And I kept saying, and I'm about to, make sure keeping the eye on the time, because this might run on. The discussion was, where are all the Moorish women, right? As in, not that women aren't saying they're Moors, but specifically, why aren't these women who are saying they're Moors, why aren't they joining the temple and helping to expand that and bring more women into our movement, which will bring the nation together, right? And it was tripped out how I had to keep code switching during the conversation, because it was the Grand Sheik is their relative, another member and her husband, and then me, right? And the way he was speaking, I'm like, it sounds like you're talking about people who don't know that the temple is a thing, right? And that just put me in the attitude of, skip them there. If they don't want to be part of the temple, they know they're Moors, right? And I don't know why. I'm not going to even try to guess why you don't want to be part of the temple. But I posited that, sorry about that. It was just so much. I'm trying to think of a way to put this cordially, right? But basically, I was like, skip them, right? Because the way you're speaking, it's like, that's the same presentation you would give to a black woman who asks, what are the Moors? She's interested. She just asked you for some more information. The way you're speaking right now, this woman, in order to find out she was even a Moor, the one who says she's a Moor, she had to cross over all of that stuff to get to the part that says you're a Moor. So she don't want it. And me personally, maybe it's got a lot to do with my chart, because I have South Node and Aries. I'm tired of fighting with folks. Real tired. So moving on to the interested. So I'm like, no, focus on the black women. Because it's funny that I don't know why. It seems to me that when it comes to the temple, right? And I'm a little far removed from the 20s, right? But apparently, hearing it from someone who's in that age bracket, they don't want to get married. Okay, I'm not going to even try to guess or try to browbeat you on something I don't even understand. But it's funny, it seems to me that the Moorish women are acting like black men, if that makes sense. How they don't want to build families. They don't want to contribute to the community. They just want to sit back. It's like a party. It's a party, right? They want to sit back and wait until the party is jumping, and then they want you to let them in for free, right? And me personally, I keep lists of names for a reason. One, because, I like statistics. I like keeping track of stuff. That'll come in handy one day. I don't know why, right? So I keep track of names. I keep track of who's participated and who's not. And shout out to the single recipient of our assistance who donated to our 40 days of gifting. Do you know how bad that looks? Do you understand how bad that looks? And like I said in our board member meeting, we didn't hesitate to help them when they asked for help. But check this out. What's that? Our covenant? This is how Moors be like, I don't know. Act 25. You know it, right? If your sister is an adversary, which is tripped out because we only have sisters. You know? But, join the temple. You won't even need us if you join the temple. You won't need Mercy Charities. That's the tripped out part. So we're going to be actually, I got back on this, I guess, from the other thing. We're going to be, I guess, redirection. We're going to be redirecting ourselves, right? Rather than, unfortunately, focusing our energies on like securing stuff on the individual level, like you in a hotel and about to get kicked out even though you got a man sitting next to you, that kind of thing. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on GSA. Do you know what GSA is? My mother worked for GSA for 18 years. If you don't know what so I know the ins and outs because she came home complaining about it for 18 years. She worked there for 18 years, starting when I was 11. So I was able to understand every word she said, whether I wanted to hear it or not. GSA is General Services Administration, where you go in and you bid on contracts. All right? I know how to do all this stuff. The FAR, you know what that is? We grown over here. That's why I really love our temple. Shout out to Soul Temple 27, because he's actually attracting grown-ups. It's really tripped out. And that's part of, actually, I'm circling back around to February 9th. Our steal is about the Moors. It's a nation of perpetual teenagers, right? They don't want to get married. They don't want to build communities. And it's like, I'm not saying all of you all. If you know you active, a hit dog, a holler, that type of thing. Moving on. But how do nations get built? Y'all should watch period dramas. Old movies about how the different Chinese people lost their dynasties. They also telling you how the next guy got it. That kind of thing. Learning how to run estates. Don't you want an estate? Do you know what's on an estate? You have a house and land and a whole bunch of people that are working for you to remain on your estate. You don't want that? And nobody's going to give it to you if you don't know how to run it. Oh, they call them states here. I don't know how you position in yourself, but if you wonder, man, you go hard. I forecast. I love astrology, and I see that Saturn's about to leave Aquarius, and coming right in to take its place is Pluto. All right, if you subscribe to Pluto. But the fact that I'm subscribing to Saturn, because that's the one I can see, is leaving Aquarius. That's starting like a whole new cycle, right? Where you're about to see the results of Saturn-ruled beings reaping what they've sown. And if you don't know who the Saturn-ruled beings are, raise your hand if you're more. Look it up, Shani. Look up a picture of Shani. All right, Shani, Shani, just like it sounds, right? Saturn rules swarthy skinned people. So, and yeah, the Russians are probably. Oh, let me just stop. Let me stop, because that's who I heard it from. The Saturn rules us. All right, and they trying to get friendly with us. Those Slavs over there. Let's see. So other reactions to February 9th. And if you want to go see it, you might want to go look at it. It was a great chat. And we're going to be keeping it going throughout the month. I guess Women's History Month, right? But like I said, I'm going to try to get on here, popping on more and more just to be, getting more people's attention, because we need to talk about this, right? Because it's like, it feels like we're like that close. So many people are calling themselves Moors. It's like the Paladin, I I think it's called the Paladin. It's some new weapon the United States military just released. Do you know who the Paladins were? They just released this. Do you know who the Paladins were? They were like celebrated for being one of the only crusaders or somebody who were able to get with the Moors. Really? Why are you dragging us into this? Never mind, I know why. You don't have to explain anything. But my thing is, before we need to start organizing and at the basis level, bringing our men and women together, that kind of thing. And again, we'll be talking about it. And another takeaway from the the launch pad chat from last week or earlier this week. It kept coming up where they kept saying it must be a fear of commitment, right? I'm like, we're talking about, I had to keep we're talking about Moorish women, right? I'm like, what are they not getting? That's what I'm not understanding. Because I can't begin to suggest solutions if I don't even know where to begin to understand where you're coming from. Women don't want commitment. You don't want to be safe. And then I thought about it, like, oh, wait. I remember the little girls who were coming at me earlier last year, right? Because they're in their 20s, so they're little girls to me, and they wouldn't leave me alone. And I'm like, shoo, fly, shoo. They wouldn't leave me alone. And then it hit me like, oh, daycare babies. Not all of them. Because there is a such thing as vicarious neglect, where the parent is sitting right there and the child is sitting there being ignored. That's neglect, all right? So I'm like, if you don't want, they don't want commitment from one man. They would rather have attention from everybody. And I'm just like, where is this coming from so we can address this, right? Or maybe find a man maybe you just don't know the attention of the right man, and that's why you acting like that, right? And then the sheik brought up, I'm just going through it and then I'm gonna let y'all go. He brought up, how ladies' night work. I'm like, well, since you brought it up, how about we do a men's night? I know about that prophecy where women gonna be running men like a hound. Why not use it? Right? Again, like I said, it seems like, I could be totally off the mark. It seems like Moorish women are acting like black men, right? Where they don't want to set up houses, right? Meanwhile, you have these Moorish men going to temples like, where are the women? They're actually looking for women not to beg, to wed, right? Because they're trying to establish empires, because they did their research and they know their history and how to get back to that, right? So, and then you got this is why I said skip the ones who should know better. They really should know better, right? And go after these ones who want the same thing you do. They're just calling themselves black, right? And is that why the prophet said to give your wife, if she's not in the temple, give her 2 apples? You don't have to give a Moorish woman 2 apples. So who is he talking to, right? And may this serve as inspiration to those Moorish women out there to get yourself right. Get in the temple. There are men there, I'm not going to say ready to worship you, but to respect you, right? You have certain expectations and I know you putting them aside because you got all these ex-boyfriends, because you let stuff slide and then you couldn't take it no more. You really don't have to, I can't promise it, but you probably won't have to deal with that in the temple. I can't promise nothing because I'm sitting here single. So, but there's reasons for that, right? First of all, I'm in the middle of nowhere by myself. That doesn't help, all right? So, anyway, so yeah, lack of commitment. So that's what I'm positing. Polygyny, maybe not with Moorish women. Let's talk about it. February 9th, right? And everybody, all are invited. Anybody, because I don't know how many people you can have on this thing, but yeah, anybody who can get in, and of course the chat will be open. So yeah, it came up how one of the reasons they say they're not in the temple is because they think that you don't have to be in the temple to be a Moor. You're absolutely right. You do not have to be in the temple to be a Moor. You do have to be in the temple to be a Moorish American. I'm gonna give you an example. How does that work? That ain't fair. I'm Jus Sanguis. I'm native to the land. You know, yes, you are. I'm gonna give you an example where that don't work all the time. China, right now, I don't know if you've heard in the news that they're having a huge population issue. So in order to make up for the numbers that are missing, because the women just like, I ain't dealing with it, you know. The women are like, I'm not dealing with it. And there's not enough of us to go around anyway because of that whole one-child policy thing. So you had people during the one-child policy enforcement, right, where they were having 2 and 3 children anyway. These children, they had to basically hide them in the house. They had to keep them in the house. They couldn't register these children. Now, these are Chinese children by blood, right? On China's land. They are in their indigenous, or however you want to look at it. I'm gonna call it indigenous for the sake of this. They are on their land as Chinese children in China, right? They have no rights. They are called Black Children of China. Look it up on YouTube. There's a whole documentary about it. And that was released before China was like, we missing about 300,000 people, no, 300 million people. Basically, we're missing the population of the United States. Y'all can come out of hiding so we can put you on the books. Now you have access to recognition as a Chinese citizen, where before you can't go to school, you can't go to the hospital, you can't get on the train, you definitely can't leave the country, because yes, you're Chinese. What government do you belong to? I hope that explains why, yes, you are a Moor, but unless you join a temple, no, you are not a Moorish American. At least you're not one that's going to be recognized, can actually get some stuff done. I'm going to give you another example, and then I'm going to let y'all go. I think I've mentioned this before, where I was helping my sister. She was dealing with an illegal alien, whatever, and I was helping her sue the federal government for allowing an illegal alien to trample on her rights, right? And the federal attorney, right, came back and said, we don't owe you a duty, right? I'm like, of course you do, because she's a citizen, you know, and then she's this kind of citizen. She's not coming in here as black, right? She's trying to get you to enforce your laws. And they're like, nah, because you put that Moorish thing on there, we don't owe you a duty. I'm like, what? The judge ain't gonna go for this. Judge went for it, right? I forgot what the ruling was, but I actually went into it because they will tell you how to correct yourself if you do these rulings, right? And I went into it and I'm like, oh, they don't owe me a duty as an individual Moor. They do owe the Moorish Science Temple of America a duty as a body politic that is part and parcel of this government and has been for, what, over 100 years? Going on 100 years. So, let's talk about it, right? February 9th. Let's see. I think that's it. Oh, I don't know if I wanted to put this in there, but yeah, I know I sounded like I was going kind of hard on the women, but you're necessary, right? Because anger gets stuff done, right? Maybe if I offend, I don't know, my tactic is, maybe if I offend you, prove me wrong, right? Make me look stupid. I dare you. I'll pay you. I won't pay you. I'll thank you. How about that? Because you're more, sister. Oh, and that's the other thing. There were sisters in the room when we had this chat, but they didn't speak. You know, they put stuff in the chat, but it was like, why don't you join in and actually give your opinion? Do we have to go through that thing like some of us had to go through in high school, where they had a class for just the girls and like, you don't have to let the boys talk over you? They thought they had to do that with us, right? They didn't have to do that with me, right? But I had to sit through it. It was funny. So yeah, speak up, especially because we want to know what's going on. Why not? Why don't you want to join the temple, right? And if you're a Moor, you say you're a Moor. I'm guessing you're proud to be a Moor. So don't you want your nation to be stellar, right? If I was to ask you the condition of your nation, what could you tell me? What are you even a part of, right? That's great. You got followers, you got fans, and offline, what you got going on. That kind of thing. Because if you think about it, the people who really run the world, they're not sitting on live every day. Think about it, right? But like I was saying, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. If you're proud to be a Moor, you call yourself a Moor, you must be proud to be a Moor. You should be, right? So it's gonna be up to us to actually make this look like a nation, right? What does a party look like with no women? Do you want to stay there, male or female? Do you want to stay there? Do you want to be a part of that? Or do you want to go find where the ladies at? Male and female. So, you know, how we gonna do that? Who gonna do that? Right? You want someone to do that for you? So, yeah. I have the highest hopes. I hold out the highest hope for our women because the prophet is bringing her to salvation, right? And me, salvation, that land, that lump of land is the temple. All right. Prove me wrong. Bring your thoughts. February 9th. Thursday, February 9th at 7:05, I think. It's already scheduled on there. So, yeah. That's all I got. So, Islam, gratitude to you, Moors. I appreciate it. Oh, if you like the shirt, it's somewhere on the website on Califa Media. CalifaMedia.com/store. And 20% of everything sold through Califa Media is donated to Mercy Charities. Because the prophet always gets a fifth. Right? Okay. Islam, y'all. Be cool. And thank you for joining. I really appreciate that. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace. All right. How do we turn this off?